Let me tell you something. There is a woman somewhere in America right now standing over a grill in her good church shoes, wearing an apron that says something sassy, and she is cooking the most incredible food you have ever smelled in your entire life. She does not have a thermometer. She does not have a fancy pellet smoker. She does not have a subscription to some barbecue magazine. What she has is decades of knowledge passed down through generations, a little bit of Jesus, and absolutely zero tolerance for dry meat. That woman is Black Grandma, and today we are unlocking her secrets. We are counting down 35 Southern barbecue tricks that Black Grandmas have been using forever, tricks that will genuinely change how you cook outside this summer. These are not gimmicks. These are not social media trends. These are real, practical, tested techniques with real explanations for why they actually work. So whether you call her Big Mama, Nana, Granny, or Grandma Dear, get ready because her wisdom is about to transform your cookout game forever. Number 35. Start your charcoal with a paper bag and vegetable oil. Black grandmas were environmentally resourceful long before it was fashionable. Instead of lighter fluid, which can leave a chemical taste on your food, take a brown paper grocery bag, tear it into strips, drizzle a little vegetable oil on those strips, and stuff them under your charcoal pyramid. Light the paper and walk away. The oil slows the burn of the paper so it burns long enough to catch the charcoal properly. No petroleum taste, no chemical residue, and your food tastes cleaner from the very first piece. Big Mama was not putting nasty lighter fluid near her ribs. Never. Number 34. Soak your wood chips in apple juice instead of water. Most people know to soak wood chips before adding them to the grill, but Black grandmas figured out that water produces steam, which cools your grill down. Apple juice, on the other hand, still soaks the chips to slow the burn, but when those chips do smolder, the apple juice residue adds a subtle, sweet, fruity smoke note to your meat. This is especially beautiful on pork ribs and chicken thighs. Soak your chips for at least 30 minutes, drain them slightly, and toss them right onto the coals. Your neighbors will smell it and come knocking. Number 33. Rub your raw chicken with lemon halves before seasoning. Before the seasoning ever touches the bird, Grandma Dear would cut a lemon in half and scrub every surface of that chicken aggressively. This does two things. First, the citric acid in the lemon breaks down the surface protein slightly, which opens the meat up to absorb seasoning more deeply. Second, lemon naturally reduces that strong poultry odor that raw chicken sometimes has. After scrubbing, rinse lightly and pat dry, then season immediately. Your chicken will absorb the seasoning better, taste more vibrant, and smell incredible on the grill. Number 32. Make your dry rub the night before and press it in. Nana did not season the meat right before it hit the grill. She seasoned it the night before, pressed the rub in firmly with her palms, wrapped it in plastic wrap, and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. When a dry rub sits on meat for an extended time, the salt in the rub begins to draw out a tiny bit of moisture, which then gets reabsorbed back into the meat, along with all those spices. By morning, your seasoning is not sitting on the surface, it is inside the meat. That is the difference between meat that tastes seasoned and meat that tastes alive. Number 31. Place a metal pan of water under the grates on a charcoal grill. This is an old church cookout trick. Set a disposable aluminum pan filled halfway with water directly on the coals or just below the grates. As the grill heats up, the water creates indirect steam inside the grill environment. This moisture keeps the ambient air inside the grill from getting too dry, which means your chicken, ribs, and pork butts do not dry out during long cooking times. The steam also helps carry heat around the meat more evenly. Big Mama never lost a rib to dryness because she understood moisture management before culinary school even existed. Number 30. Use yellow mustard as a binder under your dry rub. This one confuses people every single time until they try it. Coat your ribs or chicken completely in plain yellow mustard before applying your dry rub. Now, before you panic, the mustard flavor completely cooks off during the grilling process. What the mustard does is act as a glue that holds your dry rub firmly against the surface of the meat, creating a thick, beautiful crust as it cooks. The vinegar and mustard also helps tenderize the outer layer of the meat. Granny was not making mustard ribs. She was making the best ribs of your life using mustard as a tool. Number 29. Season your grill grates with vegetable oil and a potato half. Cut a potato in half, dip the flat cut side in vegetable oil, and rub it across your hot grill grates before placing any food down. The starch from the potato combined with the oil creates a natural nonstick coating on the grates. This prevents chicken skin and fish from tearing when you try to flip them. It also adds a very subtle, earthy layer to the cooking surface. Black grandmas figured this out in an era before non-stick spray existed, and it works better than most modern solutions. Your food releases cleanly, flips beautifully, and looks like it came off a professional grill. Number 28. Clean the grates with a half onion. This one right here is pure black grandma. Ma genius, and it needs to be said loudly. After your grill is heated up and you are ready to cook, cut a large white or yellow onion in half. Using tongs, hold that onion cut side down and scrub the hot grates back and forth firmly. The moisture in the onion loosens and removes charred residue and grease from previous cookouts. The natural oils in the onion simultaneously season and lubricate the grates. The heat caramelizes the onion juices onto the metal, creating a clean, lightly seasoned surface ready for fresh food. No wire brush bristles breaking off into your food, no chemical grill cleaners, just an onion. Nana knew what she was doing. Number 27. Rest your meat on a bed of sliced onions and butter, not a bare plate. When meat comes off the grill, most people just drop it on a plate and let it sit. But when you lay hot ribs or a brisket onto a bed of sliced raw onions with pats of butter scattered across them, something beautiful happens. The heat from the meat slightly softens the onions and melts the butter, which then bastes the bottom of the meat as it rests. The onion steam rises up around the sides of the meat, keeping it moist and adding another layer of flavor during the resting period. Big Mama's meat always tasted better after it rested because it was still being flavored even off the grill. Number 26. Put ice cubes directly on top of your burger patties while they cook. Yes, you read that correctly. And this one is a game changer that people in the black community have passed around for generations at neighborhood cookouts. Place 1 or 2 ice cubes directly on top of your burger patty right after you lay it on the grill. As the bottom of the burger is getting seared from the heat below, the ice cube on top melts slowly and sends cold water down through the center of the patty. This keeps the interior of the burger from overcooking while the outside gets that beautiful char. The result is a burger that is perfectly browned on the outside, but juicy, soft, and almost steamed on the inside. Forget adding extra fat to your patties. Add ice. Granny was ahead of her time. Number 25. Add a splash of apple cider vinegar to your barbecue sauce while it heats. Store-bought barbecue sauce is fine, but Nana never served it straight from the bottle without adjusting it first. She would pour it into a saucepan, add a splash of apple cider vinegar, a pinch of brown sugar, and maybe a little bit of hot sauce, then simmer it low for 10 minutes. The vinegar brightens all the flavors and cuts through the heaviness of the sauce. The heat melds everything together so it tastes like she made it herself. Nobody at the cookout ever suspected that sauce started in a bottle. That is the black grandma way of elevating everything she touches. Number 24. Butterfly your sausages before grilling. Instead of grilling a whole sausage link and hoping the inside cooks through without burning the outside, Granny would slice the sausage lengthwise almost all the way through, then open it flat like a book. This technique is called butterflying. The flat, open surface area means the sausage cooks faster and more evenly. You get more surface area in contact with the grill, which means more caramelization and more of that delicious char on every single bite. It also prevents sausages from rolling around and falling through the grates. Simple, smart, and absolutely effective. Number 23. Wrap your corn in wet paper towels before placing it on the grill. Granny did not just throw corn on the cob straight onto the grill and hope for the best. She soaked paper towels in water, wrapped each ear of corn tightly, then placed them directly on the grill over medium heat. The paper towels steam the corn from the outside while the grill chars the outer layer slightly. After about 15 to 20 minutes, you peel away the paper towel to find perfectly cooked corn that is sweet, tender, and has those beautiful grill marks. This method also keeps the corn from drying out which is a common problem when you grill corn directly without any protection. Number 22. Use a brick wrapped in aluminum foil to press your chicken flat. For grilled chicken halves, Big Mama would place a clean brick she had wrapped in aluminum foil directly on top of the chicken while it cooked. This technique, which fancy restaurants now call using a chicken press, does exactly what it sounds like. The weight of the brick keeps the chicken in full contact with the grill grates at all times, which means every part of the skin gets that incredible crunch and char simultaneously. It also speeds up cooking time significantly. No more lifting the tail end of a chicken half that wants to curl away from the heat. The brick keeps everything flat, even, and perfectly cooked. Number 21. Marinate tougher cuts in pineapple juice overnight. Nana understood tenderizing before tenderizing was cool. Pineapple juice contains an enzyme called bromelain, which literally breaks down the tough muscle fibers and connective tissue in harder cuts of meat like flank steak, pork shoulder steaks, and chicken thighs with bones. She would submerge the meat in pineapple juice, sometimes mixed with soy sauce, garlic, and a little brown sugar, cover it, and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. By the next day, those tough cuts were significantly more tender and had absorbed a complex sweet savory flavor. Do not marinate for more than 12 hours though, because the enzyme can start breaking down the meat too much and make it mushy. Number 20. Cook your fish on a bed of lemon slices laid directly on the grates. Black grandmas who grew up near rivers or coastal areas knew exactly how to handle fish on a grill. Instead of fighting with fish that sticks to the grates and falls apart, lay overlapping slices of lemon directly on the hot grates and place the fish on top of the lemon slices. The fish cooks on top of the lemon so it never touches the metal of the grates directly. This means zero sticking, and the lemon perfumes the bottom of the fish as it cooks with a bright citrusy steam. The fish lifts off clean in one perfect piece every single time. Number 19. Add a little coffee to your dry rub for beef. This might sound strange, but Granny knew what she was doing when she snuck a spoonful of finely ground dark roast coffee into her beef rub. Coffee contains compounds that complement the savory, rich flavor of beef in a very deep, complex way. The dark roast grounds also create a beautiful, almost black crust on the outside of a brisket or beef ribs when exposed to high heat. The coffee taste itself does not come through in the finished product. What you get instead is a depth and richness in the crust that people cannot quite identify, but absolutely cannot stop eating. Number 18. Keep a spray bottle of apple juice nearby during cooking. During long cooks, when your ribs or pork shoulders start looking a little dry on the surface, Nana never panicked. She would pick up her spray bottle filled with apple juice and give the meat a light misting every 45 minutes or so. This technique, called spritzing, keeps the surface of the meat moist, which helps smoke adhere better to the surface. It also adds a very thin layer of sugar from the apple juice that helps develop a deeper, darker bark over time. The combination of moisture management and flavor enhancement is exactly why Big Mama's long-cooked meats were always legendary at every family reunion. Number 17. Grill your baked beans directly on the grill in a cast iron pot. Never underestimate what a black grandma can do with a cast iron pot and a charcoal grill. Instead of finishing baked beans in the oven or on the stovetop, she would set that cast iron pot directly over the indirect heat zone of the grill with the lid on. The beans simmer slowly in the residual smoke and heat of the grill, absorbing that outdoor barbecue smoke flavor all the way through. When those beans are done, they taste like they have been living outside all day, because they have. This is what separates a truly great cookout from one that is just okay. Number 16. Let your meat come to room temperature before it hits the grill. This is such simple science, but so many people skip it. Granny would take her chicken, ribs, or steaks out of the refrigerator at least 30 to 45 minutes before grilling. When cold meat hits a hot grill, the outside cooks rapidly while the cold center struggles to catch up. This leads to overcooked exteriors and undercooked centers. When meat starts at room temperature, the heat penetrates more evenly from outside to inside, which means more consistent cooking throughout. It also helps the meat develop a better sear because there is less temperature shock when it hits the grill. Number 15. Use brown sugar in your rub to create a caramelized bark. Big Mama always had brown sugar in her rub, and there is a very specific reason for that. When brown sugar hits high heat on a grill, it undergoes caramelization, creating a thick, sticky, dark crust on the outside of the meat. This crust is called bark, and it is one of the most beloved textures in barbecue culture. Brown sugar also helps the rub adhere and creates a base that other flavors can cling to during cooking. The molasses content in brown sugar adds a depth that plain white sugar simply cannot replicate. Every competition barbecue team knows this, but Black Grandmas knew it first. Number 14. Grill your bread directly on the oiled grates for 30 seconds per side. At the end of a cookout, Nana would take slices of white bread or burger buns and place them face down directly on the oiled grates for about 30 seconds per side. The grill marks on bread are not just aesthetic. The direct heat from the grill gives the bread a slight crunch and a toasted quality that holds up to saucy meats without getting soggy immediately. It also slightly caramelizes the surface of the bread, which adds a flavor dimension that makes even a simple sandwich taste significantly more elevated. Every single person at the cookout would request grilled bread after the first time they tried it. Number 13. Use the vents on your charcoal grill to control temperature. Granny did not own a temperature controller or a fancy digital thermometer, but she could hold a charcoal grill at a precise temperature for hours using nothing but the adjustable vents. Opening the bottom vent wide allows more oxygen in, which makes the coals burn hotter and faster. Closing it down reduces oxygen, which lowers the temperature and slows the burn. The top vent controls smoke and heat escape. Learning to work these two vents together gives you complete control over your grill environment without spending a single extra dollar. This is the technique that made Big Mama's low and slow ribs so consistently perfect. Number 12. Inject your pork shoulder with a seasoned butter mixture. For a truly next-level cookout centerpiece, Nana would use a simple meat injector to push a mixture of melted butter, garlic, apple juice, and seasoning directly into the interior of a pork shoulder before it went on the grill. Most of the seasoning you apply to the outside of a large cut of meat never penetrates more than a quarter inch into the flesh. Injection gets seasoning and fat into the very heart of the meat. As the pork shoulder cooks low and slow, that butter bastes the interior from the inside out, creating pull-apart meat that is seasoned and juicy all the way to the center. Number 11. Cook your collard greens on the grill wrapped in foil with smoked meat. Big Mama would not let the grill be only for the main course. She would take her pre-washed and chopped collard greens, place them on a large sheet of heavy-duty aluminum foil, add a piece of smoked turkey neck or smoked ham hock, a little chicken broth, garlic, and seasoning. Then fold that foil up into a sealed pouch and place it over the indirect heat on the grill for about an hour. The greens slow braise inside that foil packet, absorbing the smoke from the grill and the flavor from the smoked meat. This freed up her stovetop entirely and produced some of the most flavorful greens anyone had ever tasted outdoors. Number 10. Season your cast iron grill pan or grate with bacon fat, not oil. Before the cookout season begins, Granny would reseason her cast iron grill grates by rubbing them down with bacon fat while the grill was hot. Bacon fat has a specific composition of saturated fats that polymerize beautifully when heated, creating a more durable, more flavorful nonstick coating than most vegetable oils. It also leaves a very faint smoky, savory undertone on the cooking surface that transfers subtly to everything you grill afterward. This is why food cooked on a well-seasoned, properly maintained cast iron surface always tastes slightly better than food cooked on a clean, untreated surface. Number 9. Wrap your ribs in foil for the middle portion of the cook. This is called the 3-2-1 method in competitive barbecue circles, but Granny was doing it decades before it had a name. After the ribs have been on the grill for 3 hours and have developed a good dark bark, wrap them tightly in aluminum foil with a pour of apple juice or a few pats of butter inside the pouch. Cook them in the foil for another 2 hours. During this time, the ribs are essentially braising in their own juices inside the foil, which makes them fall off the bone tender. The final hour comes out of the foil to firm the bark back up. The result is ribs with incredible texture that hit every note perfectly. Number 8. Use a chimney starter to light your charcoal every single time. Nana did not waste money on lighter fluid, and she did not wait 45 minutes for charcoal to get going with the pyramid method alone. A chimney starter is simply a metal cylinder with a handle. You place crumpled newspaper or a paper egg carton in the bottom, pile your charcoal in the top, light the paper, and in about 15 to 20 minutes your coals are fully lit, ashed over, and ready to cook. No chemical taste, no uneven lighting, no frustration. This is the most efficient way to start a charcoal grill, and resourceful black grandmas figured this out simply by improvising with what they had available. Number 7. Baste with sauce only in the final 10 minutes of grilling. This is a rule that Granny enforced without exception. Barbecue sauce contains sugar, and sugar burns. If you apply barbecue sauce too early in the cooking process, that sugar chars before the meat is fully cooked, creating a bitter, acrid outer layer. By waiting until the final 10 minutes of cooking to apply your sauce, you give the sugar just enough heat to caramelize and set without burning. Apply the sauce in thin layers, turning and reapplying every 2 to 3 minutes during those final 10 minutes. You will build a glossy, layered, beautiful coating that sticks to the meat and shines like it came from a restaurant. Number 6. Save your grease drippings in a jar to season vegetables. After the grill has cooled and the aluminum foil drip pan underneath has collected all those precious meat drippings from hours of cooking, Big Mama was not throwing that away. She would carefully pour those liquid gold drippings into a glass jar and refrigerate it. That collection of pork, chicken, and beef drippings with all those accumulated seasonings and smoke flavors became the base for everything she cooked for the next several weeks. A spoonful went into the pot of beans, a spoonful into the cast iron skillet before cooking cornbread, a spoonful into the rice. This is a tradition of using every single resource completely that has sustained black cooking culture for generations. Number 5. Poke holes in your hot dogs before grilling. Nana knew that a hot dog placed on a grill without any preparation would puff up unevenly, burst in random places, and cook inconsistently because the steam inside had nowhere to escape intentionally. By taking a fork and poking several holes all around each hot dog before placing it on the grill, you give the steam an escape route. The hot dog cooks more evenly, the skin stays intact in a controlled way, and you get better contact between the meat and the grill surface across the entire length of the dog. Plus, those little holes let the smoke flavor penetrate slightly into the interior of the hot dog rather than just flavoring the surface. Number 4. Let your sauce rest after cooking and before serving. After Granny took her ribs or chicken off the grill, she did not cut into it immediately. She let everything rest on that bed of onions and butter we talked about earlier, but she also let the barbecue sauce she applied rest on the surface of the meat without touching it for at least 5 to 8 minutes. This allows the sauce layer to set and develop a slight skin, which means when you finally cut into or bite the meat, the sauce stays on the meat rather than running off onto the plate. Every bite carries its full load of sauce, which is exactly what you want when you have spent time building those layers. Number 3. Use a spray bottle of water to calm flare-ups instead of moving the meat. Flare-ups happen when fat drips onto hot coals. Most people panic and move the meat away from the flames, which interrupts the cooking and means you are constantly chasing hot spots around the grill. Big Mama kept a spray bottle filled with plain water nearby and would give a quick targeted spritz directly at the base of any flare-up to calm it instantly without disturbing the meat at all. The water suppresses the flame, the coals recover within seconds, and the meat stays right where it is supposed to be, continuing to cook without interruption. Small controlled flare-ups also add a split second of intense direct flame searing that contributes to a beautiful char. Number 2. Always grill with a 2-zone fire setup. This is probably the single most important structural technique in all of outdoor cooking, and black grandmas have been doing it instinctively forever without necessarily calling it by a name. When you build your charcoal fire, pile all the coals on one side of the grill, leaving the other side completely empty. This creates a hot direct heat zone and a cool indirect heat zone on the same grill. You can sear chicken over the hot side to get color and char, then move it to the cool side to finish cooking through without burning. You can have your ribs going low and slow on the cool side all day while your sausages and burgers are getting charred on the hot side simultaneously. This one technique eliminates almost every common grilling mistake there is. And the number one tip? Season yourself before you season your food. That means being in the right headspace, taking your time, not rushing the process, tasting as you go, and cooking with genuine love and intention. Nana always said that food can taste exactly what spirit it was made in. If you are frustrated and hurrying, the food will reflect that. If you are present, patient, and joyful, that comes through too. Black grandmas across generations approached the grill as a form of ministry, a way of providing, nurturing, and showing love to everyone in their community. The technical tricks matter, but the heart behind the cook matters just as much. And now the bonus trick that you stayed for, and it is one that most people would never even think to try. Grandma would make a big batch of her dry rub mix in advance and store it in an old clean mason jar, which is the most black grandma thing in the world. But the secret was what she added to that jar. She put a small dried bay leaf inside. Bay leaves release essential oils slowly over time, and those oils gradually infuse into the surrounding spice mixture. After a week or two of sitting together in that sealed jar, the entire rub had this additional herbal depth that nobody could identify, but everybody noticed. She never told a soul what she put in there, and people went home thinking she had some secret spice no one else had access to. Share these tricks with someone who needs them this cookout season. Leave a comment below telling me which one you are trying first. And if your own grandmother has a secret technique that we did not mention, we absolutely want to hear it in the comments. Hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started on honoring the cooking wisdom that Black families have carried and perfected for generations. Nana would want you to eat well. Let us make sure you always do.